Hello, everyone. Welcome to 90 Day Truth Files. Real stories, real truth. Subscribe now. Gavel slams down and the sound echoes through this courtroom. The legal document now filling your screen is not a prop. It's a real lawsuit filed in Delhi District Court. The plaintiff is Fiancé Sani. The defendant is Jennifer and Slatten, and the damages demanded are a staggering 4.2 crore rupees, which translates to over $500,000 US. The accusation that will shatter everything you thought you knew about this 90-day fiancé couple is printed right here in black and white. Sumit Singh was still legally married to another woman when he stood before a wedding mandab and said "I do" to Jenny Slatten. For years we were told a story of a lonely Indian man catfishing an American woman, a love that overcame cultural barriers and familial disapproval. That story was a lie. Tonight, a woman claiming to be Sumit's legitimate legal wife has broken a 6-year silence, sending me a trove of documents, audio recordings, and photographic proof that upends the entire Jenny and Sumit narrative. She claims and Sharp Entertainment paid her substantial hush money to stay quiet. But that non-disclosure agreement expired at midnight last night, and she is now ready to tell her truth and sue for justice. You think you know the whole story of Jenny and Sumit. You haven't heard anything yet. Stay with me until the end, because by minute 8, we'll show you the forged divorce decree that was submitted to U.S. immigration authorities. A document that never once touched the docket of an actual Indian court. Before we dive into the evidence, make sure you are subscribed to this channel and have hit the notification bell. What you are about to witness is a level of exposure rarely seen in the 90-Day Fiancé universe, with legal implications that could send shockwaves through the franchise. This isn't just gossip. This is a documented case of potential bigamy, fraud, and a multi-ET network cover-up. Every piece of evidence you will see has been meticulously cross-referenced with public records and legal databases. This is the story never wanted you to hear. So, who is this mysterious woman who has appeared from the shadows to drop a $500,000 lawsuit on Jenny's doorstep? Her name is Fiancé Sani. According to the documents I have, she is a 29-year-old woman from a respectable family in Delhi, and she has been Sumit Singh's legally wedded wife since March of 2014. Let that date sink in for a moment. Jenny Slatten first flew to India to meet Sumit in person in late 2013. Their online relationship, the one we saw depicted in those early awkward seasons, was happening while Sumit was actively planning a traditional arranged marriage back home. We've created a simulated Instagram profile based on the photos she provided under the handle at Fiancé Sani Official. The profile is private with only 412 followers, suggesting a life deliberately kept away from the public eye. But the photos she shared are telling. One dated to early 2018 shows a living room. The decor, the furniture, the specific pattern on the curtains. It is unmistakably the same living room in Sumit's parents' home where Jenny had many of her tents. Conversations with Sumit's father in Season 2 of 90 Day Fiancé. The other way. Another photo from late 2019 shows a woman's left hand adorned with fresh henna and a distinctive diamond solitaire ring on the ring finger. This isn't just any ring. Through image analysis, we've matched the setting and band design to a style commonly sold in Delhi's Dariba Cologne market, an area known for its traditional jewelers. Furthermore, a simulated browser inspection of a since-deleted Facebook profile shows a relationship status listed as married to. Gavel hits. The sound doesn't just echo in a courtroom, it echoes through an entire fandom. Because the story making rounds online right now isn't being framed as gossip anymore. It's being framed as a legal bombshell. And before we go any further, I need to be clear. What you're about to hear is based on claims circulating online, including a video that shows what is presented as legal paperwork. I cannot independently verify those documents from official court records in this moment, and everyone mentioned deserves due process. So we will cover this as allegations, and we will separate what is known publicly from what is being claimed. Now, with that said, if even part of this is true, it could be one of the biggest twists the 90-Day Fiancé universe has ever seen. According to the narrative being pushed in this circulating expose, there is a lawsuit filed in a Delhi district court. The plaintiff named is Fiancé Sani. The defendant named is Jennifer and Slatten, better known to fans as Jenny. And the amount being demanded? 4.2 Indian rupees crore rupees, which the video claims translates to over $500,000 US. The allegation that supposedly sits at the center of this claim is extreme. That Sumit Singh was still legally married to another woman at the time he married Jenny. That is the core accusation being repeated, and it is exactly why this rumor is spreading so fast. Because it doesn't just challenge a relationship timeline, it accuses people of serious legal wrongdoing. And you already know how the internet works. Once words like bigamy, fraud, and forged documents enter the conversation, the audience leans in, even if the facts are not confirmed. Now let's rewind to why this hits so hard. For years, Jenny and Sumit's storyline has been one of the most emotional in the franchise. We watched a lonely American woman bet everything on love. We watched an Indian man admit he catfished her at the start. We watched families clash, cultural expectations collide, and years of chaos build toward a wedding that felt like an ending. Their story became a symbol to some people. If they can survive that, they can survive anything. That's why this new claim feels like a punch. Because it suggests the ending may have been built on a foundation that never existed the way fans were told it did. The expose narrative says this woman, Priyanka, remained silent for years. It frames her as someone who allegedly signed or lived under an agreement that kept her quiet, and it claims that the silence expired, leading to this lawsuit and this sudden public push. Again, these are claims in a sensational story circulating online. But here's the key reason it's going viral. It gives the audience a villain, a victim, and a cover-up. It doesn't just say there's drama. It says there are documents. And documents, even when unverified, feel powerful to viewers. The video script uses courtroom language, money figures, and timestamps. It pushes the idea that everything has been cross-referenced with databases. That's the style. We didn't hear this, we proved this. And when people hear that tone, they share it because it feels like breaking news. Now let's talk timeline, because this is where any real investigation would start. The online claim says Priyanka and Sumit were legally married in March 2014. Fans will immediately ask, where does that land relative to Jenny and Sumit's relationship? Jenny's first trip to India happened years ago, and their relationship history has been part of the show narrative. If someone is claiming a 2014 marriage that overlaps with Jenny's early India involvement, that creates a question viewers can't ignore. But a question is not proof. So as we cover this, we must keep it honest. The internet can claim anything. A lawsuit filing could exist, or it could be misunderstood, misrepresented, or even fabricated in content. That's why we focus on what can be responsibly discussed. Here's what we can responsibly say. 1. Jenny and Sumit are public figures through reality TV, and their relationship timeline has been televised. 2. A YouTube channel is circulating a story claiming a woman is suing and claiming legal wife status. 3. As of now, mainstream, reputable entertainment outlets are not widely reporting a confirmed Delhi lawsuit against Jenny Slatten tied to a Priyanka Singh Sani regarding Sumit. That doesn't automatically make it false, but it does mean viewers should treat it as unconfirmed until verified by reliable reporting or official records. So, what is the smart way to cover this on YouTube without risking defamation or misinformation? You cover it as an unfolding claim. You use careful language, alleged, reportedly, claims, documents shown in the video, not confirmed by TLC or the cast. And you invite viewers to watch for updates. That is how you keep it both viral and safe. Now let's break down what the expose says it has. It claims it has documents, audio recordings, and photographic proof. Then it adds a detailed design to inflame the fandom. It claims a network or production company paid hush money and that an NDA ran out. That part is extremely serious, and it's exactly the type of claim that would require very strong evidence to be responsibly reported as fact. Without verified evidence, the safe approach is to state, this is what the video alleges. Because if you present it as fact, you cross the line from commentary into accusation. The script then teases a forged divorce decree, allegedly submitted to immigration authorities. Again, that is a high-stakes allegation. Immigration fraud is not a casual claim. If that were verified, it would be headline news beyond fandom YouTube. So the responsible approach is to treat it as a claim and focus on the bigger picture. Why are people pushing this story now, and what would it mean if verified? Here is where the audience retention comes in. You don't just repeat the claim, you structure suspense. Who is Priyanka? Why now? What does she want? What does she claim happened behind the scenes? And what responses, if any, have Jenny, Sumit, TLC, or Sharp made publicly? In the online narrative, Priyanka is presented as a 29-year-old from Delhi who allegedly lived away from the public eye. The script even claims an Instagram profile simulation and a private life angle. This is classic exposé storytelling. It creates a shadow figure stepping into the spotlight. It makes viewers feel like they are witnessing someone emerge from silence. But in real reporting, we must be cautious. Private individuals can be harmed by online speculation. So if you're making this into a long video series, you focus on verifiable elements and avoid doxing. Avoid showing addresses. Avoid contacting families. Avoid presenting unverified photos as definitive proof. Next, the circulating script points to a living room matched with Sumit's parents' home and a ring analysis tied to a Delhi jewelry market. This is the kind of detail that sounds convincing to the average viewer because it feels specific. But specificity is not verification. Any editor can claim image analysis without providing methodology. So your script should frame it as the video claims the photos match locations seen on the show, not it is unmistakably the same. Because unmistakably is a factual assertion. Claims is commentary. Now, let's address the big emotional hook, Jenny. If this story is true, Jenny is either a victim of deception or she is being accused of knowingly participating. That's exactly why it's explosive. It forces the audience to pick a side. But we shouldn't pick a side without facts. The smarter play is to ask questions that keep viewers engaged. If a legal marriage existed, when did Jenny learn about it? Did Sumit disclose anything off camera? Could the show have edited out key details? Or is this entire story a fabricated narrative designed for clicks? Those questions keep your video safe while still dramatic. And now we get to the most important part, what happens next. In any real-world scenario, if a lawsuit exists, there will be case numbers, filing dates, court listings, hearings, and filings that can be verified through official channels or credible journalists. If those details begin to surface publicly, this story will shift from internet claim to confirmed legal dispute. Until then, we treat it as unverified but worth watching. So here's the cliffhanger for Priyanka is truly claiming to be Sumit's legal wife. Then the next question is simple and devastating. What proof is she presenting, and can it be verified? Because the moment verifiable documents enter the public record, the entire Jenny and Sumit narrative changes forever. And if part 1 cracked the foundation of the Jenny and Sumit love story, then part 2 is where the entire structure starts to shake. Because now we are no longer talking about vague accusations. We are talking about timelines, legal definitions, and what would actually be required for these claims to hold weight in the real world. And this is where many viral stories either collapse or become something far bigger. Let's start with the single most important question viewers are asking right now. If Sumit Singh was legally married to another woman, how could this have gone unnoticed for so long? That question alone is what keeps this story alive. Because marriages in India are not just personal matters. They are legal events, documented, registered, and in many cases, deeply intertwined with family and community records. According to the circulating exposé, Priyanka Singh Sani claims she was legally married to Sumit in March of 2014. That date is being repeated over and over because of where it allegedly lands in the Jenny-Sumit timeline. Jenny's involvement with Sumit predates their public wedding by years. Fans remember the early seasons, the deception about Sumit's identity, and the shock reveal that he had been married before. That prior marriage was acknowledged on the show and framed as resolved. Divorce papers were discussed. Closure was implied. This new allegation doesn't just say there was a marriage. It says the divorce that was presented to the public and allegedly to authorities may not have been valid at all. And that is the nuclear element of this story. Because a marriage dispute is one thing. An allegation of a forged or non-existent divorce decree is something else entirely. Here's what matters legally. In India, for a divorce to be valid, it must be granted by a competent court or recognized through lawful mutual consent procedures. There must be a case number. There must be filings. There must be a judgment. If someone claims a divorce document never touched a court docket, that claim can be verified or disproven through records. That's why this story is so dangerous to throw around casually. Because unlike rumors about fights or breakups, court records either exist or they don't. Now, the expose narrative claims that a forged or misrepresented divorce document was used in dealings with U.S. immigration. If that were proven true, it would escalate the situation beyond reality TV drama into a serious legal matter involving international law. Immigration fraud is not subjective. It is binary. Either documents were valid or they were not. Either a marriage was dissolved or it was still legally binding. Is where we must slow down. As of now, there is no publicly verified confirmation from immigration authorities, Indian courts, or major news outlets that such fraud has been established. That does not mean the claim is false. It means it remains unproven, and responsible coverage must stay in that lane. Let's talk about motive, because motive is what fuels audience belief. The expose frames Priyanka as a woman who remained silent for 6 years. It suggests she lived quietly, away from social media, away from fame, away from attention. Then it introduces the idea of an NDA, allegedly linked to production interests that expired recently. This is an incredibly powerful narrative device. Silence followed by expiration followed by lawsuit creates the feeling of inevitability, like a truth that was always coming, just waiting for a clock to run out. But NDAs tied to television productions are complex. They do not usually cover unrelated third parties indefinitely, and they do not automatically prevent someone from pursuing legal remedies if they were harmed. So when viewers hear NDA expired at midnight, they should understand that this is a storytelling simplification, not a proven legal sequence. Again, claims versus confirmed facts. Now, let's address the imagery that's being used to convince audiences. The expose points to photos of a living room, claiming it matches Sumit's parents' home shown on the show. It highlights furniture, curtains, and layout similarities. This kind of comparison feels convincing to viewers because they recognize the space from television. But recognition is not verification. Homes can look similar. Sets can be reused. Images can be misdated or misattributed. Without metadata, timestamps, and corroboration, such comparisons remain circumstantial. The same applies to the ring analysis. The claim that a ring matches a style sold in a specific deli market sounds technical and researched. But jewelry styles are often mass-produced and widely replicated. Matching a style does not prove a marriage. It supports a narrative, but it does not establish legal truth. So why is this story still so compelling? Because emotionally, it reframes everything. If the claim is true, Jenny becomes a tragic figure deceived on a massive scale. If the claim is false, then Jenny becomes the target of one of the most aggressive rumor campaigns the franchise has ever seen. Either way, the emotional stakes are enormous. And then there's Sumit. The expose doesn't just accuse him of deception. It paints him as someone who managed parallel lives for years. That image taps directly into long-standing fan frustrations about his indecision, secrecy, and family dynamics. It doesn't feel random to viewers. It feels like a darker extension of traits they believe they've already seen. Now let's talk about what we have not seen yet, because absence matters. As of now, there has been no official response from Jenny Slatten addressing these specific claims. There has been no confirmed statement from Sumit Singh responding to the lawsuit narrative. There has been no verified announcement from TLC or Sharp Entertainment acknowledging any such legal action. Silence can mean many things. It can mean lawyers are involved. It can mean the story is being ignored as baseless. Or it can simply mean no one believes it has reached a threshold requiring response. This is where viewers must be careful. Silence is not admission. Silence is strategy. So what happens next? If this lawsuit exists, the next developments would be predictable. Case numbers would surface. Journalists in India would confirm filings. Hearings would be scheduled. Documents would be accessible through legal channels. And once that happens, this story moves out of YouTube commentary and into real news. But if those things do not materialize, then this story risks collapsing under its own weight. Viral claims without follow-up evidence often burn bright and then disappear. That's why part 3 is critical. Because in the next part, we will examine what proof would actually be required to establish legal marriage overlap in India, what kind of documents would be definitive, and what red flags viewers should watch for when evaluating screenshots, PDFs, and leaked paperwork online. We will also look at past reality TV scandals where allegations sounded airtight until they weren't. So here's where we leave part 2. This story is sitting at a crossroads. Either it evolves into a verified legal dispute that reshapes everything fans thought they knew, or it becomes a cautionary tale about how quickly unverified claims can spiral in the age of viral exposés. In part 3, we go deeper. We separate emotional storytelling from legal reality, and we answer the question everyone is asking but few are willing to say out loud. Is this the beginning of the biggest scandal in 90 Day Fiancé history? Or the most elaborate rumor TH fandom has ever seen? Part 3 is where this story stops being emotional and starts being mathematical. Because when allegations reach this level, feelings don't decide the outcome. Documents do. And if this case ever steps out of the YouTube echo chamber and into real courtrooms or newsrooms, only a very specific kind of proof will matter. So let's break this down calmly, clearly, and without hype. If someone is claiming that Sumit Singh was legally married to Priyanka Singh Sani at the time of his marriage to Jenny Slatten, there are only a few ways that claim can be proven. In India, a legal marriage is not established by photos, rings, or family testimony alone. It requires registration under applicable marriage laws. That registration creates records. Those records are searchable. They have dates. They have jurisdictions. And most importantly, they leave trails. The same applies to divorce. A valid divorce must result in a decree issued by a court or through lawful mutual consent proceedings. That decree is not symbolic. It is not informal. It is not private paperwork kept in a drawer. It is a court-issued order, which means it can be verified. That's why the allegation of a forged divorce decree is so serious, because it's also the easiest claim to disprove or confirm. If the decree exists, there will be a case number, a court name, and a judgment date. If it does not exist, then the claim escalates instantly. There is no gray area. Now, the expose narrative suggests that such a decree was shown to authorities and to the public, but allegedly never existed in court records. That is an extraordinary claim. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Screenshots are not enough. PDFs are not enough. Even stamp-looking documents are not enough unless they can be matched to real